Have you ever experienced a drought in your area? What are some of the ways that you've overcome the absence of H2O? I'm Matt Drury, and this is a special Gamekeepers edition of DoD TV. This segment of DoD TV is brought to you by Mossy Oak Gamekeepers, your ultimate resource for wildlife and land management. It makes up nearly 70% of the Earth's surface, 60% of you and I, and it's pretty much a necessity to just live our daily lives. And drumroll please, that object, it's water. But what happens when water is all of a sudden yanked right out of that equation? Living things become unhealthy, they stop growing, they start breaking down, and ultimately they die. In this segment, we join up with Terry and we see what he does when, we got drought conditions.
Each and every year we become extremely devout because we are praying to Mother Nature and to God to give us the rain that we need to try and get our crops to grow. And I know there's a ton of farmers out there that live and die financially on Mother Nature, on having that rainfall when they need it. If you get timely rains, it is so key, so crucial, and so important. I just can't stress it enough. If you don't get them, boy oh boy, it can be extremely tough.
Well, you know the old adage, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. This food plot looks absolutely fantastic. It's biologic maximum. We've got some radishes, winter bulb, sugar beets, all of the biologic products. And we did a bunch of fertilizing, a bunch of lime this off season. So it looks great, but we are in near drought conditions. It's not panic button yet, but I want to continue giving it a little bit of moisture to continue having the plant growth, the root growth, because if we don't have any rain in sight. They've taken it out of the forecast I don't know how many times, and we got 90, 91 degree temperatures coming. So I want to try and give them a little drink before these really, really hot days are upon us. So that's why we're out here watering. This one looks outstanding. The rest of them don't look like this, and you'll probably see that as we move on. But we're giving this one a pretty good drink, and then we're going to continue going to 2 or 3 other ones. So we're going to crank her up here this morning and let her fly.
Sometimes you can find an old fire truck for a little bit of nothing, really the value of the motor. And that's exactly what happened. We purchased one for very little, very, very little money. We go to a pond, we drop an intake hose in there, bought a pump that water and fill that tank, go right out onto the field and apply it. July and August are probably the best times of the year to do that because wherever they're bedded, they're not moving very far, they're staying there and they're not up on their feet. Sometimes you can get by with a little bit of intrusion during those times of the year.
Some guys are the most intrusive people you've ever seen when it comes to hunting. That's one thing we're not. So for us to do this today, totally out of character. We're in one of my best spots. Right here is where I shot my deer last year with a bow out of the muddy blind. But this food plot has absolutely been browsed down to nothing. We've got hot temperatures coming the next 2 or 3 days, so we got water running. We're just trying to keep this biologic alive. It's almost too late to plant anything else because I don't see any rain in sight. So we're gonna try and salvage what we got.
So the strategy was to try and create a siphon, under the real hot dog days of summer when you got near drought conditions and you've got maybe an 8 or 10 foot water supply here. It doesn't take a lot of water to keep a food plot going until Mother Nature blesses you and gives you a little bit on top of that. We started putting our heads together, created siphons, and out of that siphon we're just robbing water from one pond levee and applying it onto a food plot. Works pretty doggone good and it's very cost effective.
A few cockleburs, a few horseflies, a few stick tights, 350 foot of hose, and a little ingenuity. Sometimes the hillbilly in you can be pretty creative, when you don't have a lot to work with, you work with what you have. We're just in a geographic location here where you simply cannot water this food plot, and the browse pressure is off the chart. It literally is gone. This food plot looked so good about 2 weeks ago. Now they've got it down to bare dirt. We're extremely dry. We're in drought conditions. We're gonna let this thing run all night tonight. We did it over on another part of the farm where we had a siphon created and just absolutely blew that food plot up literally in 2 days. I mean, the grass went from that to that. So we're gonna do the exact same thing here. We're gonna move the hose periodically. Yeah, are we intruding? Absolutely. Is it important, imperative that we have food later on? By all means. We'll find out later. I'm gonna say November, we'll know. But we're gonna do the best we can and try and get this biologic to start growing again. We just haven't had any rain. We're in drought conditions, got 90-degree temperatures, and we're just gonna try and save it if we can. Look at that.
Siphoning is one of the easiest ways. It's cost effective. It's not hard to do. You know, make sure that your intake structure doesn't get covered up or with leaves or mud or something. We like to put it in a bucket, and then once you create that siphon, you get the water started. As long as you don't run your water supply out, you got to be modest about how much you take, but it will keep a food plot alive when you need it during those really hot dog days of summer during the drought conditions.
Nice tip there, Terry. I'm gonna keep that old pond siphoning trick in the back of my pocket for years to come. Don't forget, we're shooting for 100,000 subscriptions here on the Drury Outdoors YouTube channel. All we need is for you to help us out, and in return, you're gonna be automatically entered in for a chance at a free PSE bow. Pretty good giveaway there, guys. All you gotta do, click subscribe. Until next time, we hope you enjoy this Gamekeepers edition of DoD TV, and good luck in those drought conditions. This segment is brought to you by Mossy Oak Biologics, scientifically proven wild game products.